This week on Taste Utah, we're dissecting the finer nuances of what a proper burger and a proper beer entail. And that's because we're visiting Proper Burger and Brewing. The Proper Group has always anchored themselves in community and craft, creating delicious food that's accessible for almost any dietary restriction, all while featuring high-quality, ingredient-driven menu items, beginning all the way back with their microbrewery in the avenues of Salt Lake City, and opening Craft and Sugar House, where you can sample some of Utah's finest brewers. First, we sit down with Andrew and his team at their Salt Lake City location. Then, we head down to Moab, where you can experience the same food, with a few special exceptions, at their latest creation in eastern Utah. Behind every good food story is a great people story. Taste Utah brings you the faces behind our local flavors, from soil and seeds to the variety of our authentically Utah restaurants. The views along the way, they're not bad either. Food is a necessity. It's how we create it, craft it, and experience it together that truly connects Utah's restaurant community. The secret to our sauce is simple. It's our farmers, artisans, chefs, restaurateurs, and hospitality professionals that make Utah a dining destination. You always have a seat at this table.
This is so fun to be sitting at Proper Brewery in Salt Lake City, Proper Burgers in front of us. Andrew, I feel like it's been 7 seasons since I've sat down with you.
Yeah, too long.
Yeah, Jeffrey, I know it's been at least 3.
Yeah.
We sat down during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID.
And then never with this lovely lady down here.
First time with me.
Yay!
Yeah, this is Rebecca Cardaccio, and she is the sales director for Proper Brewing Company.
Very cool. It's
Yeah.
really, really amazing just to see the breadth of how you have grown and expanded in Salt Lake City, and then, you know, also down in Moab.
It was mostly just a really good opportunity that we felt like we couldn't pass up.
Yeah.
Somebody did some high school down in Moab as
Yep.
well. So there's some ties to Moab that we have for sure.
Yeah, so
Good.
I lived in Moab for a few years during high school, and my parents and some of my family are still down there. And so, I was always back and forth over the last 10, 15 years going to visit. And then an old friend that had a restaurant down there, once COVID hit, decided to close up shop, and it was just kind of the right time and right opportunity for us. So,
What was the idea behind crafting some of these burgers that we have in front of us?
I think a lot of that, started and stemmed kind of from when we were up at Avenues, right? I think that you're a small nano brewery and you do from scratch food, and you're sourcing local ingredients, and we really wanted to bring that into a burger concept, right? And really kind of hold on to those values. It's the same thing that we do with our beer, where, we're source as local as we can from scratch, all of it. And so, we definitely wanted to tie that into a Proper Burger as we, expanded down to here.
I love it.
6 or 7 years ago.
Will you tell us what you made for us today?
So here, closest to you, is the Johnny Utah.
Beautiful.
So we do a smoked turkey pastrami and a coleslaw.
Here you are, this great fast casual concept, but you are taking the proper steps to bring the ingredients together that are handcrafted by nature, right?
Yeah.
You're still making your pickles
Kind
in-house.
of elevate it up, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The zucchini pickles are also on the Johnny Utah.
Love
and
it.
Those go all the way back to Avenues when we're doing zucchini pickles.
Yeah.
It's like year one.
Yeah.
And then what's in front of you?
So this is our Pork City, USA. We actually featured this one on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Guy was here eating that, doing his hunch and the whole
he
thing.
did.
Nice.
Back in 2018. Yeah.
This is, it's all things pork. You get a burger. There's ham,
Love it.
bacon, and then, you really traditionally put an egg on it.
And then something to dip the onion rings and the fries in. Talk to us a little bit about that.
So it's our proper sauce
Yeah.
is what we call it. It's, we take our proper beer and we reduce it down. So you're taking 3 gallons worth of beer and you're gonna reduce it all the way down to about half a gallon.
Nice.
And it kind of gets this real bittery, beer flavor, and we put it into a mayonnaise, make an aioli.
So wise.
With roasted garlic and regular garlic, and then, it's
dip your fries in it,
Yeah.
you smear it on your burger, you take a bath in it. It's that good.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the reality. Very cool. And then what's in front of you, Andrew?
So this one we have the Flying Hawaiian, and that's actually, this one's done with a chicken breast. So like all of our burgers you can do with, you know, they kind of default most of them with beef patties, but you can do grilled chicken, and then we also have homemade vegan and vegetarian patties as well.
Your vegetarian patty is, I think, one of the best burgers I've ever had. But people like it so much that they'll order it like Avenues Proper and probably even here, and it's called a hypocrite burger because you're like, hey, throw some bacon on that.
Yeah.
Because I just like the vegetarian patty.
Definitely.
And then we got to talk about the beers.
So the beer in front of Jeff over here is called the Yacht Rock Juice Box.
Yes.
So this is our best-selling beer, really become a staple for us over the years, which it's going to be a New England juicy IPA. And so, you know, this is going to be found on draft and then in stores throughout Salt Lake and throughout the state. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's really nice because you get, you know, a lot of the hop character, but as opposed to more of like a West Coast IPA where you think of traditionally like more the bitter kind of resinous piney flavors. This really is true to its name. It's more juicy, and the brewing process, the time in which they add the hops actually basically eliminates the bitterness.
Cool.
And so it's like 0 IBUs, which are the international bittering units in the beer. So it's just a really easy drinking, kind of fruit-forward IPA. It's really nice.
And then we have to talk about the Riled Up Red, because what you do at Proper, which is so cool, is you partner with local businesses and different endeavors to support and highlight.
So with this one, we've had a relationship with ESPN 700 and 92.1 FM, which is new.
Love it.
But we've had a relationship with them for a really long time. We've done a segment called Beers with Bill for a long time.
Okay.
Bill Riley, who's the voice of the Utah Utes. So all of the Utes sports broadcast. Anyway, so we made a red ale, basically like an amber ale. It's more malt driven. So when you talk about the ingredients of beer, you know, you have your malts, you have hops. Yeast basically takes sugars and converts that into alcohol and bubbles. So those are your ingredients in beer. And really, a lot of the time, it's about what you're focused on, what like the main flavor profile is. Like with the Yacht Rock, it's hops. But with this one, it's the malt. So it's the grain. So it's all the breadier flavors.
Right.
So when you get those darker toned malts, you're not always getting, you know, bitterness or heaviness. You can just get kind of toastiness. So it's almost like a very nicely toasted wheat bread, but it's not heavy drinking at all.
And maybe you can walk us through the process a little bit more. So we've talked about beer on the show, and one of the things that we like to do is educate everyone as to what it is that they're drinking or what it is other people are drinking and why.
If you break it down very simply, you're basically making very good tasting sugar water.
Okay.
So brewers make wort, which is sugar water,
Okay.
and then yeast makes beer.
Great.
So what brewers do is they take grain. So we have many different kinds of grain. You can have very lightly kiln grain, a little bit darker, all the way down to like roasty chocolate grain or black malts. And so what you're doing is you're going to crack the grain open, and we do that in our mill.
Okay.
And that exposes the center of the grain.
Okay.
And then we add hot water to that in our mash. So we create a mash with hot water, and that allows the enzymes that are in the grain to start breaking down the sugar chains into more consumable sugar chains for the yeast. So you're just making it more consumable for the yeast. And so the level of like roasty or stewed or like darker grain is the color that you're gonna get in your beer.
Okay, so all starts with the grain choice.
It all starts with the grain. So if you use like, even if you're gonna make like a super dark stout, you're still gonna use as like your base, like if you're making like a soup, like a stock, you're gonna use light grain and you're gonna add in just a little bit of the dark because of that dark grain is gonna add so much more flavor and it's gonna overpower everything. But the less that you're modifying your grain, the more enzymatic ability to break down those sugars you're gonna have. So you don't wanna roast off all of that like conversion process, like conversion abilities. So you'll have that nice lighter grain.
So you're mix and matching all three of those.
Absolutely.
That's
so you're
really
kind of making
cool.
like a stock.
Yeah.
So your darker grains are still going to be mostly your base malt and the darker grain, and then of course if you're doing a really light beer, you're going to have all of your lighter malts in it. And so you're going to use less, which is great.
It's awesome. And then what you have that looks like pellets are the hops.
So the oils and acids in these hops, they isomerize or basically like cook in with heat. So if you add them in during the boil, which is what we do after we have our mash, if you cook them in early, you're gonna isomerize more of those oils and acids, and you're gonna impart more bitterness into the beer.
Okay.
So it's like over steeping tea. Like if you steep your tea and you just barely dip it in, right? You're gonna get all those aromatics, but it doesn't really add flavor. It's still gonna taste like water.
Yeah.
But if you steep your tea for too long, it gets astringent and really intense. So the longer you basically steep your hops, the more bitter and more intense it can be.
Oh my gosh.
So if we add the hops in post-boil, we can get something like the Yacht Rock Juice Box where it's all of the aromatics and the flavors, but you're not getting any of the bitterness.
And I love that. And like that is the intention of some of these more, what would you say, like hazy IPAs or more Citra IPAs.
Your New England versus your West Coast. So West Coast used to be like, how bitter can we get it? And now the East Coast is like, how can we make it
How
so
light
hoppy,
and fresh can we get
but
it?
without any bitterness? So it's really, and I mean, that's what's cool about like beer and cooking. It's kind of the same thing. You're getting like the Maillard reaction in the mash tun. You know, you're cooking in with all of your hops and stuff. If you add your hops in 1 minute later than you did the batch before, it's going to taste different.
That's so fascinating.
Like
So
how the same chef can cook the same recipe twice, and it can be different.
different every time,
It's very much the same as
That's
that.
really cool. So I bet, do you experiment with hops and things like that on small batch levels, and
That's
then
what's
like
so
we
fun
nailed
about our
it?
space.
Well, and I think, you know, your point of like the scientific aspect of brewing, I mean, it really is, you know, there's, I mean, all the records that they keep and stuff for brewing, because it really has to be like, if you want a consistent beer, you have to nail all those steps every single
To the
time.
minute, to
Like,
the pound, to the ounce.
Yeah.
Everything is about consistency.
I want to commend you all on the adherence to quality, to truly craft. Like, it's not a marketing term or a buzzword, which it can be, but what you're doing here is you're sourcing as local as possible. When you can't get it local, you'll do regionally, and really looking for the best products, and then how you can put your mark of quality on those products. That's what the sandwich is, that's what those onion rings are, that's what all these beers are. So you're doing that in Moab, and it's just amazing. We're down in Moab, and I'm taking you to Proper Brewing Company. We know them, we love them for their burgers, their beers, and after a day playing on the Slick Rock, in Arches, Canyonlands, nothing calls your name more than some burgers and beers. Darcy!
Hi, Katie.
I am so excited to be all the way down here at Proper Burger and Brewing. Super excited to talk about French fries, beers, amazing hamburgers.
We have so much great things to show you and talk about, and so many great dishes for you.
All right, let's go get eating, shall we?
Awesome, let's
do
go.
it. One of the things that I love about Proper Burger and Brewing is that there's something for everyone. It's really such a phenomenal experience here.
Yeah, and that's part of why we do that, is because we don't want anybody to come in and feel like they can't get something on our menu, whether they're veggie, vegan, anything like that, kids, everything. I think it's super important that we cater to everybody.
And you're making everything in-house, which is so cool. So like the vegetarian burger, it's not vegan, it's black bean
It's black
patty.
bean, yeah, correct.
But binder is egg, so it doesn't necessarily fit under the vegan, but then you also have a garden burger.
And we also have vegan milkshakes as well, so people can get that experience and get a little dessert as well to go with their burger.
I may or may not have an obsession with your vegan chili.
The vegan chili tastes like one of my favorite chilies.
It's so good.
Delicious. I eat it almost every day.
And it's like not a qualifier, like it's not a vegan chili, even though the chili is vegan.
Exactly.
It's just chili, and it's so
It's
good.
so good. It's so flavorful.
So you can get like a chili cheeseburger if you want. You can smother your fries in it, and it's really just so fun. Will you tell us what we have on the table?
Yes, definitely. So this is going to be our kale and chicken Caesar salad.
Okay.
We got house-made Caesar dressing. We do all of our dressings in-house as well. Right here we have our poutine fries, Canadian favorite, of course.
Beautiful.
So you can get those also vegetarian as well. It does come with bacon pieces, but
Okay.
you can definitely get those off to make that vegetarian.
So the gravy itself is vegetarian?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
that's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's great. And then that's going to be our nacho cheese fries,
These
which
are like nacho business, how
Yeah,
good they are, right?
exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Then we just have the garden burger with our vegan patty as well, and that's also house made
I love
in-house.
that.
With
It
the
kind of looks like a plain Jane style vegan.
Yeah,
Should I
yeah.
do
So
that?
there's a lot of just added vegetables to it and give it. It's our specific garden burger is the
Love
name
that.
of the burger too.
Oh,
so
how
a lot of veggies to that as well. We also do have a vegan cheese as well,
Okay.
so people can get that as an option as
Just
well.
completely vegan.
Yep, yep.
Any vegan sauces?
We have a vegan aioli.
That's a big deal.
That's a big one, definitely. We also offer gluten-free options for people, gluten-free
Wow.
fries and gluten-free buns. Some of our sauces are gluten-free as well. So
I love that.
it's really, for everybody.
And then, of course, the beverages we have to talk
Yes,
about, right?
definitely. We have our Oreo shake. We have many different flavors with mint chocolate. We have Oreo, Reese's.
The one thing I really love about all of the Proper restaurants is that it exemplifies craft. So, offering you that same delicious food experience, but in a different setting, right? So, like Avenue's Proper, you sit down, you dine in, it feels really nice, and you're getting served. Here, it's more fast casual. You come in, give your order, and you're in and out. And at a place like Moab, sometimes it's nice to be able to be in and out, right?
Yeah, and we get so many people, world travelers, coming in and out or leaving Arches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
People don't always need that sit-down experience. That's why we have the restaurant and the bar side, so people can choose your own adventure.
It's just such a diverse menu. Is there anything that's like exclusive to Moab that you can't get?
I would say the Moab burger is one here. I think they are starting to put that on other experiences. We also do weekly specials as well, so that is
that's cool.
exclusive. Yeah, right now
That's
we have
different.
the El Chapo burger that's got chorizo and different ingredients, and our chefs create those. Next week we're gonna be doing chicken wings on special as well.
And what is the Moab burger?
That is a double cheeseburger with
Okay.
caramelized onions,
Okay.
American cheese, and proper sauce. And you eat it if you're hungry because there are 2 all beef patties on it.
Well, I'm kind of curious about this burger. I would be very curious to see how the chefs throw it down here in Moab.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
You should definitely check out that burger. We can have them make one for you.
Yeah?
for
Okay, I'll
sure.
pop back in
Yeah.
the kitchen. I want to check it out.
Yeah, definitely.
Mother of all burgers. In the kitchen, Chef Diego, you're gonna make a burger for us.
Yeah.
This is the Moab burger. It's the mother of all burgers. Love it. So these are 2 fresh, never frozen patties. Massive, massive burger. Okay, 2 patties go down.
The proper sauce.
Proper sauce. This is liquid gold. It's delicious. Lovely mixed greens going down.
Tomatoes.
Tomatoes, sliced tomatoes.
Zucchini.
House-made zucchini pickles. Over, you're not messing around. Yum. Got American cheese. Caramelized onions. Yum. Give it a little steam bath to melt the cheese. Beautiful, Diego. This is a masterpiece. You are doing such good work in the kitchen. Gracias. Darcy.
Hey, Katie.
This looks delicious. I may or may not have heard in the kitchen that you've actually crafted one of my most favorite, what I feel like is secret sauce to accompany some amazing beer.
Yes, this is gonna be our vegan chili cheese fries with our ghost pepper cheese.
I love it. It's literally one of my most favorite things. Tell us about the beers we have in front of us.
Awesome, sounds great. Right now, the ones that have been poured for you is going to be our Sour Ranger. It's going to be a sour beer. We also have the SLC Pilsner, so just a light, easy drinking.
And these other two are in cans.
Yes, these two are in cans. We have the Leisure Brow that was brewed specifically in honor of our opening here in Moab. It's a cold IPA.
Okay.
And then the Daily is in honor also to Moab because if you know Moab, it's very outdoorsy and outdoorsy things, and people love going on the river, and they call it the Daily. Running the river is one of the things that locals do and out-of-towners do, is running the Daily. So that one is in honor of Moab as well.
And I love this little insight as well that like, that's just what the locals say, you're running the Daily. When you're running the Daily, it's not like the daily grind. It's literally the river.
It's literally the river, just running the Daily, and it took me a long time because I'm not from here to figure out what people were talking about. So.
And how do you run the Daily? How do people run the river? Is it just like kayaking?
There's a couple different ways. Just so many outdoorsy people. A lot of people just do it on a raft.
Okay.
But people can kayak. They paddleboard if they're crazy enough.
So how many beers would you say you have on the menu at any given time?
For our cans, we probably have about 20 cans, and then we have 20 draft beers at all times, and then we do a local kombucha as well, too.
Oh, I love that. So the kombucha is brewed...
Just on Main Street, there's a Wild Bloom Kombucha.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and so they're a local place. They bring us kegs when we run out and stuff like that, so we like to support locals here and in the back of the kitchen and stuff.
It's really fun because Proper, as just a brand in Utah, they have Avenues Proper, which is their flagship store where they very first started brewing small batch. Then they have Craft, which is like their bar that's over in Sugar House.
Yes, yeah.
And then Proper Burger and Brewing. And now you have this other location that will also be brewing in small batches, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah, and you don't get that a lot of places with breweries and stuff. You don't have many locations and many opportunities to do so many different small batches particular to that location.
Darcy, this has just been such a phenomenal time in Moab. It's been so wonderful just to revisit with Andrew and the whole team and relearn what makes Proper such a Utah classic and why you would want to come to Moab.
Thank you so much for coming, and it's been so exciting to show you what we're about.
I mean, this is just elevating Utah's food community, and especially in Moab, just the fabric of the culinary landscape here, and you're knocking it out of the park.
Thank you so much.